On today's episode of the WNP podcast, we go through our current power rankings as well as our mid-season awards. Stay tuned. Episode 122 of the We're Not Professionals podcast. I'm your host, Mike Mitchelson, and join me today, as always, my co-host, Chase Crawshaw. Chase, how you doing?
I am doing swell.
Oh, are you?
Yes, how are you?
I'm doing great. It was a good day today. Got some money. Made some money, I should say.
Money. Sorry, go ahead.
Got to eat a burger, and also, right out there, I don't know if you can see it, Sparty Christmas tree's up.
Oh, look at
that.
Look at that.
A little bit disappointed in my Sparty team this weekend, but
That's tough.
They're still in control of their destiny, so.
But Michigan's a better team according to the rankings. That's so funny. Like,
do we want to talk about that?
We can talk about it
before
real
we
quick.
hop into.
Yeah, we can talk about it real quick because we're not going to do another college football show for another couple of weeks anyway.
Yeah.
So it's just funny because that game, we talked about it last week. It was a great game. State came out with a win. It was good all around though. It was an entertaining game. So even if you were a Michigan fan and you're disappointed in that loss, you at least got to enjoy a truly good football game.
Mm-hmm.
But now Michigan State goes and loses to the Purdue Spoilermakers, and they drop below Michigan in the college football rankings. Who wins against whoever the hell the right team, Nebraska that they played?
Yeah, I don't know,
yeah, like. It really doesn't make sense because head to head, we got the better team there, and I know the same arguments made for Oregon compared to Ohio State, where like Oregon beat Ohio State, so they should be above them, but I disagree because that was so early in the year. Now Ohio State's clearly shown them the better team. Where, if Oregon would have beat Ohio State last week, then yeah, sure, Ohio State below them, and so it's the same kind of thing. Michigan State, if they beat Michigan week 1 or 2, and then just down the road Michigan was shown they're the better team, that's fine, but they beat them 2 weeks ago. That should say they're the better team right now.
That's the thing I don't freaking get because, like you just said, that Ohio State right now, if we were placing a bet, Ohio State or Oregon, we're betting on Ohio State
Easily.
all day. But the committee is so firm on the fact that, Oregon won back in week 2 or week 3, whatever it was, so they need to be higher than Ohio State. Michigan State just beat Michigan. Why are they below? It frustrates the hell out of me. But I do have to say, I'm very happy we're still above Oklahoma. And as a Michigan State fan, the loss hurt. I was a little annoyed. But it's nowhere near the point of annoyance that I have with my Bengals right now. Because, my goodness. But Michigan State, they still control their destiny. If they beat Maryland and then beat Ohio State and then beat Penn State, they're in the college football championship.
I do got to say, though, I love the shade that Oklahoma gets. It makes me so happy.
Oh, it's great.
I've said it all year long. They're
Yeah.
way too damn overhyped. So now the fact they're not even still in the top 7 is fantastic.
Well, we've been talking about them, how we talked about the Steelers last year.
Yes.
Sure enough.
And sure enough, Oklahoma's going to drop 3 games later on to end the year.
So, I thought they were going to lose to Texas Tech.
Yeah,
didn't.
I know. It seemed possible, but they're probably gonna lose conference championship game. I don't know who they're even gonna play, but I bet you they're gonna lose it, and then they're gonna lose their bowl game. So there's 2 losses right there.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. All right, let's hop into the planned episode, the NFL episode we're going over. And first up, we got to talk about a little bit of news, and after the news, we're gonna go into power rankings, do halfway season awards or mid-season awards, I should say, and then do a little game preview afterwards. So first, Odell Beckham Jr., he was officially released by the Cleveland Browns. Right now, the favorites, at least from what I've heard, Green Bay, Kansas City, New Orleans. However, I have heard that it is leaning most likely towards New Orleans. That is the last thing I want. I feel like if there is a team out there right now that will allow him to produce less than what he already did on Cleveland, it's going to be New Orleans. They don't have a quarterback. They've got Trevor Siemian and Taysom Hill. I don't want that.
Well, if you want to feel better about it, I'm reading a sleeper notification from 2 minutes ago.
Oh.
It says, it's not news, not breaking news, sorry.
Shoot.
But it says Packers wide receiver Devontae Adams says his hopes are pretty high that Odell Beckham Jr. comes to Green Bay. Says he's spoken to OBJ and let him know he has a home here if he's ready to come. So,
well, I like that.
Yeah, so when he's feeling that good about it and he's had the conversations and it's said that OBJ wanted to go to the Packers anyway, as long as he's willing to take a cheap deal, because Packers are offering him veteran minimum and that's it. If he's willing to take that for 1 year and then go sign a bigger extension in the offseason, then he's going to Green Bay. And I don't think it shoots them like over the moon or anything like that, but it makes them a better team and immediately makes them legitimate Super Bowl contenders.
I need that because we were talking about it before the show. We both own OBJ in a dynasty league.
Got him right here.
And boy, oh boy, would we love to see him play with Aaron Rodgers, especially when Devontae Adams is going to be taking double teams every single route he takes.
And Rodgers can get the ball to him. That's downfield.
That is a home run.
Oh,
and Rodgers, he's actually going to see him and decide to throw it to him, unlike Baker Mayfield.
Yeah, well, like OBJ could, like, if he signs with the Packers and gets acclimated, he legitimately could finish for down the stretch as a top, wide receiver 1 or 2. Like, he'll be a top 24 wide receiver in fantasy.
And we're out here supporting the player. OBJ had a tough couple of years in Cleveland. We're hoping for the best. We want him to go to a situation where he will play really, really well in Green Bay. However, when I sent that tweet in the group chat that that's the place he wanted to go, our buddy Pell Graham was not very happy. He's like, no, don't go to Green Bay. Because he doesn't support people.
No, he does not.
He doesn't support happiness. He doesn't support wealth and good life. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
Well,
I just want to take shots at Graham.
Yeah, anyway, he clearly does not like the Packers. I don't like the Packers either, but at this point, I'm just thinking about my fantasy team.
And the thing is, if there's a year where you should not care about what your rival's doing, it's the year when you have 0 wins through 9 games or 8 games, whatever you guys have.
0-8, baby.
So, obviously you're not going to root for them, but it really doesn't matter what happens with them because it's not affecting you guys in any way.
Yeah, I agree. That's why I'm not too worried about it. And I don't let my personal hatred towards these rival teams even affect my views. I think this would be a good fit, and I look at it objectively like that. I don't hold resentment towards teams like you hold against Steelers and he holds against Lions division rivals. I don't cheer for the Packers actively. I don't cheer for the Bears actively. I don't cheer for the Vikings actively.
Oh, so you're not Johnny?
No, I'm not. I don't just hop. I don't just team hop. But realistically, it's a football fit that makes sense, and you want to see things make sense. You want to see players succeed, teams succeed. You want to see good football, and even if that is a rival alliance doing that good football, I want to see good football played, and that would make sense.
And we want to see success for our fantasy teams.
Absolutely, that
is the most important part.
That's just a fantastic aspect of it.
Most important part. Let's talk about Sam Trashnold first before we hop into the other situation, because I've got a question after that follows up.
Your question is, should OBJ go to Carolina?
Well, no. We're done with the OBJ stuff now. All right. So Sam Darnold, let's talk about him. He's headed to IR. Doesn't really make much of a difference. Him and PJ Walker, same skill level.
No. Sam Darnold's better than PJ Walker.
PJ Walker is the worst version of Patrick Mahomes. Just like Sam Darnold.
Oh my God. PJ Walker showed some good signs in the XFL. It's or AF, whichever one was he in.
I don't remember.
Yeah, they're both mixed them ahead at this point.
They both played 6 games and then folded. So
yeah, and the XFL was because of COVID. They were going strong actually, but regardless,
now it's owned by The Rock, and he's going to take it to the top because it's about power. It's about
drive. It's about power.
It's about power.
We see hungry and we devour. But after we put in the work and put in the hours and take what's ours, we root for PJ Walker and Matt Rule to succeed. They were linked up in college. They're linked up in the NFL. Maybe things will just randomly get hot out of nowhere. He had a good game last year when he started, one solid game, and then this year every game that he's played in, he's been horrible. So now that he's known as the starter for at least the next 4 weeks,
You're going to be selecting them in every single pick 'em.
Yeah, absolutely. So we should have, like, we'll have a better idea of how he looks in this first game. He might like be okay, honestly. Like he might not be as bad because he's getting those true starting reps in practice and stuff.
I think he will be better because Christian McCaffrey's back too.
Yeah, and you literally can't be worse. Like you can't be worse.
I mean, we saw the huge difference that was Sam Darnold with McCaffrey and without McCaffrey. So he makes a big difference. As long as he can stay healthy, he should be able to do something. He was healthy this weekend and led me to my first win in your league.
Because I don't have Derrick Henry
above you.
It's, frustrating.
Yeah, whatever. All right, life. Now let's get on to the next piece of news, which I will have a follow-up question after we talk about the initial piece here, and that's Damon Arnett, he's a first-round pick, right?
Yes.
Last year?
Yes.
2 years ago?
Last year.
For the Las Vegas Raiders. He has been released after a video in which he has a gun and he is threatening the life of another.
Yeah, he was threatening a Raiders fan for whatever reason. I don't know what the hell is going on in Vegas. A lot of just bad shit's going on. But the situation happens. He gets cut. Just weird situation. I don't know what to say about it. Just very, very strange.
Yeah. Just another headline that comes to the Raiders, like they have the past month and a half or so. My follow-up question is the Raiders' terrible draft history, one of the worst in the NFL. Here's my question. Do the Raiders have the worst draft history in all of the 4 major league sports? Like, I mean, maybe take out the MLB because, like,
I don't even bother with baseball because that draft is a whole different breed.
Yeah, it takes like 20 years to see anyone. But like when we're looking at it, I mean, Damon Arnett cut, Henry Ruggs gone, Clelin Ferrell, what's he doing? Not much. DeMarcus Russell, that's a guy to add in the mix. Like the Raiders drafting is so bad. I can't think of a team right now that I would say the Raiders undoubtedly have a better draft history than they do.
Worst draft history, you mean?
Like the Raiders have a better one.
Oh, I get what you're saying.
Not going to happen.
If we're talking about all major sports, I would say the New York Rangers. I sent you that stat the other day.
I think the New York Rangers have a great draft history. They just have a terrible coaching staff and like prospect production and everything like that.
Well, at the end of the day, if your draft picks don't turn into NHL players, that means, or players in general, that means they're bad draft picks. Like even if it is a development fault, it's still looked at as a bad draft pick. So like that's how you kind of have to look at it. You know, all these guys drafted in Oakland are drafted because they think they can develop them the right way, one way or another. Then it doesn't work out. So it's the same kind of situation. Like it's just guys are being drafted in these draft slots thinking they can be developed and they can't.
That's fair, but at the same point, when we're looking at the Rangers, when we actually watch them take their selections, we're like, solid selection. When we're watching the Raiders, we're like, why are you taking him in the first round?
Yeah, and yeah. So I don't know if that makes them like bad drafters. I think it makes them stupid drafters. I think there's a little bit of a difference as well. Like you could draft guys that make sense in the spot, and everything always just fails, and that means just bad talent evaluation and like not proper risk management. When you're making horrible decisions, it's like that's just bad asset management in general.
Yeah, I mean, stupid, ignorant, bad, whatever it is. I mean, they all seem they fill the same category, and that is the Raiders draft room. Like,
yeah, that's fair.
I'm trying to think right now who was the last like home run pick for the Raiders. Derek Carr in the second round.
Max Crosby.
Yeah, in like the fourth round or fifth round, whatever he was.
But really, like other than that, that's really about it. Like Josh Jacobs could be, but they don't use him the way he should be.
Yeah, and then I know I had a lot of hope of Jonathan Abrams, and he's been bad.
Yeah,
so, just so many misses in the draft. So
agreed.
All right, let's move on to our power rankings. We've got a top 10 here. We are halfway through the season for most teams. Some teams still only played 8 games, but we are there. We are at that point of being halfway through. This power rankings was so incredibly difficult for us. Like, there are teams out here that you're like, oh, wow, they've had a great start to their season. The Bengals, oh, wow, great starts to their season. The Raiders, oh, my gosh. But then the last 2 weeks has literally changed everything. It's flipped everything on its head. You look at the Bills; they just lost to the Jags. So there's so much to go through here. Let's start off. You want to go 1 to 10 or 10 to 1?
Let's go 1 to 10.
I agree.
All right. Number 1 is the Arizona Cardinals.
Okay. My number 1 is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Okay. That's perfectly fine. We'll want to read down our list and then we'll discuss, or do you want to discuss one?
Sure, let's do that.
Do you want to just go 1, 1, 2, 2? We should discuss this beforehand. We didn't, but I'll say mine 2. You say your 2. Let's keep going that way. I like this.
Okay.
My number 2 is the LA Rams.
My number 2 is the Arizona Cardinals.
My number 3 is the Tennessee Titans.
My number 3 is the Green Bay Packers.
My number 4 is the Green Bay Packers.
My number 4 is the Tennessee Titans.
My number 5 is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
My number 5 is the Buffalo Bills.
Oh, wow. My number 6 is the Dallas Cowboys.
My 6 is the LA Rams.
My number 7 is the Baltimore Ravens.
I've also got the Ravens.
At 7. We're 1 for 1 in ties right now.
Yep.
Or 1 for 7, I mean. Number 8 is the Buffalo Bills.
I got the Cowboys there.
Number 9 is the LA Chargers.
Mine's the Patriots.
Number 10 is the LV Raiders.
Mine's the Chiefs.
Ew.
Mm-hmm.
Why the hell would you do that?
Because I don't like the Raiders. The Chargers have had so many close games against really bad teams that I feel like right now, if the Chiefs and the Chargers go head-to-head, as long as Mahomes doesn't turn over the ball 4 times, they're going to take it.
Nah.
So,
Chargers are winning 10 times out of 10.
Sorry. The Chargers barely beat the Eagles, and then who was the other team they just recently faced?
The Eagles are elite. Did you see how many points they scored on the Lions?
Against the Matt Patricia Lions. That's what they look like.
Hey, easy.
All right. You talk about, I guess, the Cardinals here, and I'll look up who they just. Oh, they lost to the Patriots. Okay, this is the Chargers' last 3 games. They get smoked by the Ravens, 34-6. Then they lose to the Patriots, and then they beat the Eagles by 3 points.
Yep.
Like, that's why I don't have them there, and that's why Brandon Staley is no longer my head guy for Coach of the Year.
Yeah. I mean, you can be wrong. It's fine. But the Arizona Cardinals are the number 1 team for me, just because they only have the 1 loss on the year. They really have not shown very much fault when things have gone wrong. They keep winning. Colt McCoy goes in. DeAndre Hopkins is out as well, and they sure enough still go ahead and win. Like they keep winning despite the circumstances. They very clearly look like the most ready team to win this year in my eyes. Like they everything is just going right, and this has to happen for these championship teams that kind of come out of nowhere. Like you can see they were building things, but like really, like how they finished last year, it essentially is out of nowhere. Like we're not expecting them to be this type of team, and things usually go right for either a couple weeks and then they die off, or they go right for the whole season all the way through. And right now, it's obviously trending towards that one. So I'm putting my money in on them. I'm thinking that they're probably my favorite right now.
Should I pull a you?
Sure.
I picked my list for if they win over whatever. No. So the only reason I don't have the Cardinals number 1 is I think if they go head-to-head right now with Tom Brady and the Buccaneers, I think the Buccaneers win.
They could.
They are very similar to how a lot of people thought Green Bay was going to be the team that upset Arizona. I feel like Tampa's another one of those teams. I think Arizona's a really good team. There has been some holes here and there. Kyler being a little bit banged up worries me a little bit. And then who was the running back that just got injured? Was it Edmonds?
Chase Edmonds.
Yeah, so that is James Conner is
great in his spot duty.
He's scoring a lot of touchdowns.
But he played very efficiently in Chase Edmonds' spot. He was like 4.9 to carry.
I don't think that continues. Like as we go on without Chase Edmonds, I think James Conner comes back to Steelers James Conner, and no one likes that.
I mean, it might, but
okay, James Conner, owner in fantasy.
Benjamin, dude. Benjamin is always someone that
I like. Benjamin
felt like if he had an opportunity, he might be able to do something. Now he has a chance.
I don't like James Conner though.
But Benjamin's going to get work though. He's still probably going to get 8 to 10 touches a game because that's just how they do their running backs group. And maybe Benjamin shows he's just superior and gets more than that.
So you're a Cliff guy. That's what you're telling me.
No, not a Cliff guy.
I got Arizona too. I think that's very respectable for them. I just think that Tampa, they're my number 1 right now. I think if they go up with every team in the league right now, that's the team I'm going to be putting my money on.
Fair enough.
Your number 2 was
real quick. The Patriots are making a strong push to sign OBJ. Belichick wants Beckham on the roster badly. Gross.
another Cam Newton situation where you're like, oh, there could be a possibility of something actually happening there. He's going to get a lot of work, and all the work is just going to be terrible.
Imagine he just goes there and pulls in Antonio Brown and gets like 7 catches in one game, then gets cut right away.
Dude, I've got Jacoby Myers, too. That is the last thing I want.
Dude, Jacoby Myers just needs to be thrown away because he's like a talented receiver who just literally is still not scoring an NFL touchdown.
I would rather OBJ on New Orleans than I would New England. And yeah, I just said that New Orleans was one of the worst spots to go.
Yeah, that's fair because Trevor Siemian's a better quarterback than Mac Jones.
No. No, I will not get on that stance. But Billy B, he just...
hopefully it doesn't happen.
Your number 2 was the Rams, right?
Yep.
Why is that? Why is that after they just got smoked by the Titans and Matt Stafford looked terrible?
Yeah, you're down to have
Titans.
Bad games. Like it happens. Like this is their first bad game of the year. Like it's hard to have great games every single week. Like it really is. So they have a bad game.
I mean, I've got great shows every week.
Okay. So the Rams are in a spot where they can bounce back. They're a very talented team, and I think they will. I think they'll respond pretty strongly. I have a lot of faith in that whole division in general. Even if the Seahawks, when Russell Wilson gets healthy, maybe they can go on a run because they looked, pretty solid with Russell Wilson lineup. That whole kind of division, just they're the one I had the most faith in coming into the year. They're still the one. So I think the Rams, even though they just lost to Tennessee, I think that's just like a one-time thing. Even though I got a lot of faith in Tennessee still. If they play again, like that one is probably more often like a 60-40 in terms of the LA.
Mm-hmm. I think the Rams defense is really fun, and
Von Miller didn't play last week either yet.
Right. I think that the defense is getting a lot of praise, which it should, but I feel like it's getting even a little bit too much because although they do have a supporting cast, like it's not this ungodly supporting cast that if Jalen Ramsey's out for a play or Aaron Rodgers is out for a play, that Aaron Donald, that teams are still going to have to be, super worried. It's good. It's not. If you take away Donald and Jalen Ramsey and even Von Miller, like,
okay, but like
they're average.
But that's taking away the 3 best players. Taking away 3 best players of any unit, they're automatically downgraded.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying, like, they're getting a little bit too much hype for their defense. Like, people are comparing it to like the Bears in the '80s, and I'm like, let's calm down. It's a great defense, but they're really strong at 3 positions, and then the depth is kind of lacking a little bit.
Yeah, I'm not going to say it's completely lacking. It's just like, there is teams that are deeper, but the excessive talent at the top helps make up for that.
Also, did you know that Aaron Donald is not the number 1 graded defensive tackle in the league right now?
I did not. It's interesting. I know he's getting a lot of double coverage and stuff, so like it helps impact his numbers, but...
Can you guess who it is? I guarantee you won't.
Then no, I won't.
Fletcher Cox.
Random, but nice.
Yeah. So... very interesting there.
Was that like the Tyrell Williams clip? Whenever I hear that name,
no,
that's all I think of.
No,
you got that soundbite?
I don't have that soundbite. No, no, I don't. You can do it for us if you want.
No, I'm good.
Okay,
I'll let you find the soundbite for next episode. We each open with it.
Who was your 3? The Titans.
Yep.
And Green Bay was for your 4.
Yep.
So I've got Green Bay as my 3 and the Titans as my 4. So let's just talk about them combined. We'll start with the Titans. Why are they so high?
You can go either way with these 2 teams. They're pretty close to me. Titans have just been playing very well despite what looks like a lack of unreal personnel, especially defensively. Up front, the passing game has been fine. It's had success when it needed to, but it hasn't been unreal. Derrick Henry goes out last week, and they still go out and beat the Rams. Everything's going right. Mike Vrabel's coaching a good team. He's a very good head coach. He's very good at playing that just true like head coach role of like managing the team and managing game situations. It's very clear, and the Titans are exceeding a lot of people's expectations. I had faith in them. Not even this much faith. Like they're exceeding my expectations, but I'm happy to see them do well. And I think that with the way they looked, they could really continue. Like if they can get a good RB by committee approach until Derrick Henry comes back in time for playoffs, like they could do some damage.
I don't get this team. Like they're without Derrick Henry, and their offense has still found a way to produce, even though Ryan Tannehill has struggled. He has not been the quarterback that everyone thought he was going to be this year. And also their defense is bottom 12 in the league. Like, their defense isn't doing anything great, but for some reason, they're just finding ways to win. And that's why I've got them so high, because they're getting the job done. No matter if it's in ugly fashion, if it's in glorious fashion, they're getting the job done.
And and I think they've improved like every game this year.
So
really,
and I'm not a big Titans guy, but they got to be up here. They earn my respect. And the only reason I've got them at 4 under the Packers is because with Aaron Rodgers back, I think they can beat anyone. If OBJ comes in, that could be another team that is looked at like, wow, this could be a Super Bowl favorite, because now you have actually more than one offensive weapon. So
right. Quick news update. My house is out of power.
Oh, good. You're not staying here. Sorry.
You remember how like the lights flashed before we started recording this? So apparently there must have been some sort of power surge or something somewhere.
Huh. Interesting.
Yeah. All right, now we can go back to the show. Sorry.
All right, Green Bay. Thoughts on them? You love them.
They are icky Vicky. Kind of we talked about it a little bit earlier on when we were talking about OBJ landing spots. Like they're just if they get OBJ they're truly legitimate like Super Bowl contending type threats, and even if without them they're still pretty close to it. And I think 4 is a pretty reasonable spot. Aaron Rodgers, when healthy, has been playing great this year. Obviously he's had to miss last week, might have to miss this week because of COVID protocols. But when the team's all out there going, like they're rolling. They are exceeding my expectations this year. I thought they were going to have a down year. I just didn't really like how things were looking. Even with Aaron Rodgers coming back, I thought there was going to be too much turmoil to kind of get over. But they figured it out, and they're, this really is setting up where it could be like one last hurrah, go win a championship, then Rodgers leaves and goes elsewhere.
Mm-hmm. All right, so we talked about 5 teams so far: the Bucks, Cards, Green Bay, Packers, the Titans, and the Rams. Let's now talk about our next little group of 3. That's the Bills, the Ravens, and the Cowboys. So what do you think? You got the Cowboys the highest, I believe, right?
Yeah, this is another thing. All 3 of these can go in any order, though. Cowboys, I'll just give them benefit of the doubt because I really love that offense that Kellen Moore runs. I think it's fantastic. He's really setting out to become a great head coach candidate in the future. Hopefully they just fire Mike McCarthy and make him the head coach there, because Mike McCarthy's trash. Anyway, this offense has been fantastic. Dak is, he struggled a bit coming back off injury last week, but he was out for a few weeks, and, he didn't have a full offseason practice because of injury either, and he still played great for the most part this year, so I think he's bound to bounce back, be good to go. Michael Gallup's going to be back in the mix, too, so they're going to have a healthy receiving room, healthy quarterback, healthy running back, so the offensive line is pretty healthy. And on defense, you look at the emergence of Micah Parsons, played fantastic. Jabril Cox and spot starts has been awesome. Trevon Diggs is in the running for Defensive Player of the Year with how well he's been playing. He's lets up some big plays, but he's just, the definition of a true ball hawk, and he can sway momentum so quickly with a pick like he gets. Mm-hmm. They got enough of the right pieces in play where this is the year that I genuinely think they're legitimate contenders for as a playoff team, not necessarily like true Super Bowl contenders maybe, but they are for sure like a playoff team. Where in previous years it's always feel they might be a playoff team, but if they do, they're done pretty early, and that's been the case.
I agree. The only reason that I have the Cowboys below the Bills and the Ravens is I feel like they've got the worst loss so far. The Bills losing the Jags, really bad loss for sure, but it was one of those games where it was close and just everything felt stagnant, whereas the Cowboys, they kind of got crushed by the Broncos. So that's the only reason I have them lower. I think that out of those 3 teams, the Cowboys have the best possible offense. I mean, Dak, CeeDee Lamb, Michael Gallup, Amari Cooper, Zeke Elliott.
How dare you list Amari Cooper 3rd?
Phenomenal group.
How dare you?
It was after Dak and CeeDee, right? Or did I say Michael Gallup?
You said Michael Gallup before him.
Oh, well, Amari Cooper's kind of trash. So
you're kind of trash. Get out of here.
I think that it is a very fun team to watch. They just need to be a little bit more consistent. They have shown some cracks, and that loss against Denver was part of it. When we look at the Bills probably would be my number 2 team right now if it wasn't for the Jags loss. They've been crushing everyone, and then they come in against the Jags and just immediately just dump the bed.
They're 5-3 right now. The Bills, Buffalo Bills.
Who else did they
5-3? Titans.
Oh yeah.
They would be a top 5 team for sure without that loss. They would force either Green Bay or Tampa down, which at that point I'd probably move Green Bay down to 6 and leave Tampa at 5, I think, or maybe up to 4, just because I'd feel weird putting Tampa outside my top 5. But regardless, it doesn't matter because the Bills lost 9-6 to the Jags.
Yeah.
I had the benefit of not having to watch this game because I couldn't watch any football games on Sunday this last week. So, I would have liked to see the games, but I couldn't see them. Regardless, you can't lose 9-6 to the Jacksonville Jaguars. You can't lose 9-6 in general. Like it's inexcusable.
Especially for that team. They are the best defense in the league right now when it comes to points against by a wide margin, by 35 points. That's a whole ass game. Like, they are performing tremendously. Their offense is one of the top teams. And to go in and play the Urban Meyer-led Jags like that, and when Trevor Lawrence even got banged up for a couple of plays, I think it just shows that Josh Allen is better than Josh Allen.
It's so funny that both Josh Allen's went 7th overall, too.
Right? And that was the first time in history, right, that a Josh Allen sacked a same-name player sacked, but also intercepted. So it was a big game for Josh Allen and a poor game for Josh Allen.
Yes, it was. Last thing before that we move on, it just kills me that Urban Meyer's going to keep his job because of this win. Because they won 9-6 against a Super Bowl contender in a game that is literally being thrown away. The Bills are going to bounce back like this game never happened. Like, they're for sure going to. This game will just literally be a weird stain on their record. It's all it's going to be.
I do quickly want to bring this up because I remember we briefly talked about it. I don't know, probably 4 or 5 episodes ago. Talking, Urban Meyer should be fired. He doesn't have a win yet. At the time, he didn't. And so I was like, what about Robert Saleh? Should we bring him up too? Because he has 0 wins. And you were like, maybe we should. Sitting at the point right now, there's only one coach without a win this year. Do we bring up that coach?
No.
Why? Because of home bias? Or?
No, because when he was brought in, he was given a 6-year contract because they knew they were going to completely rehaul and retool. And the team last year was as bad as they were with Matthew Stafford, and they got worse in every department. Like it was known they were going to be this bad.
I think it was known with the Jets too, but you wanted to bring him up.
Like, we could have just because they had a young rookie quarterback and he was doing so horribly, and it was disappointing.
Also, Mike White was announced to be the starter this week.
It's because they said Zach Wilson's still not fully healthy.
They said precautionary, but it's going to be a situation to keep an eye on.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
Why would you play a rookie quarterback when he's still even slightly banged up when you have no chance of winning?
No, I agree. Why should you play a rookie quarterback when you have Mike White, baby?
No, absolutely not. I got to say, though, when we're seeing rookie quarterbacks, like, this is the time that Trey Lance gets into the game because, like, Jimmy Garoppolo has not looked very good all year, and Kyle Shanahan has had very little to say about Jimmy G. So Trey Lance is getting very close to the starting point, and
they're 3-5.
Yeah, when he gets it, I hope that he succeeds right away because that would be awesome. I'm a big fan of him, and I think he just could bring a whole new factor to that offense. I truly think it's coming in the next 2 weeks.
They're not getting in playoffs.
No,
Trey Lance won't play well enough to totally turn their season around.
I agree. Like how do they get in the playoffs at this point? Like they're going to have at least 2 divisional opponents above them. Like, at least.
Also, remember Graham's top 10 quarterbacks, how he had Jalen Hurts in there?
Yes.
He now has Mike White in there.
Oh, he for sure does. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mike White's above Ryan Tannehill. Mike White's finished at number 4 spot. Tannehill's down to 5.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about the only team that we have in the exact same position. That's the Ravens at 7.
Yeah, deserving. Lamar deserves more talk as an MVP candidate. He's played fantastic. They have no running game. He is the running game. He is now tied for the record for most 100-yard rushing games by a quarterback in a career. That's 10. So went through 45 games. Michael Vick did it in literally like 4 times the amount of games. Lamar is just an incredible asset weapon that is impossible to stop. He really is. He is just such a special player, and he doesn't get enough love as a thrower. He's been throwing the ball really well too. He's passing over 30 times a game as well as running. They've been having a lot of offense driven through that team. Like they're managing the ball, holding it, for great stretches of time. Now that the team's getting healthier too, Rashad Bateman's finally getting on the field and looks really damn good. He looks like their best receiver, with Hollywood Brown still looking like a very good receiver too. Mark Andrews there up front. The whole offense is just operating very well. Then you go look at the defensive side real quick before you talk. And, they've taken steps back from the past. Patrick Queen still is not playing up to what I thought he was going to be doing this year, But as a whole, like the unit is still just so solid. And
Except for against the Bengals, yeah.
And can shut down a team really at any point. There's so much to like on the defense, but I really think the offense is what's going to carry them.
I feel like Lamar Jackson and Dak Prescott are very similar in the fact that at the very start, we were critical, and we have started to come around more and more. You came around on Jackson quicker. I think I came around on Dak Prescott a little bit quicker than you.
Yeah, I would agree.
So he's been really good. And I saw a tweet. I don't remember who it was from, but they said Lamar Jackson should be in the same conversation as Patrick Mahomes when it comes to odds to make the Hall of Fame. Like, they're both very young. They're both not in the Hall of Fame yet. But when it comes to guys that have the potential to be there, they should be in the same conversation. And I'm looking at it now and thinking, why not? Like, Lamar Jackson might be the most talented player to ever play in the NFL.
I 100% agree. He does things that no one else has ever done. He does them in a special way that no one's ever done. He's going to continue to do those things. You know, it might bring wear and tear on his body. Hopefully it doesn't. We haven't really seen someone run the way that he does at the quarterback position. So we're going to kind of, figure out over the next few years what's bound to happen. But hopefully he can stay healthy. And if that's the case, he's going to be on track because he's going to literally have 50 more 100-yard rushing games in his career than the next running back and still throw for like 3,800 yards and 30 touchdowns every year. He's a talented thrower. And you could see it when he was in college. I just didn't know how much trust I had in his accuracy developing in the NFL. But it has improved. That he's gotten better with his touch. His ball placement downfield has definitely improved, even though it was still truly an asset for him in college. But he's refined it to have more success in the NFL, and he's truly a well-rounded quarterback.
All right, let's now move on to our final two, our 9 and 10. We've got very different teams here, so I'll let you break down your two teams that you have at 9 and 10, and then I'll go through mine. All
right, Chargers. I still think that they're a playoff team. I think they're going to get there. Justin Herbert is one of the best young quarterbacks in the NFL. Austin Eckler is a talented running back. You look at, Mike Williams is struggling last few weeks as a receiver, but I think he's bound to, get it figured out again because teams are eyeing on him a little more than Keenan Allen, and now it's about to shift. They're going to switch over to Keenan Allen, and then Mike Williams start getting open again. Then you go look at the defense. When you got Joey Bosa, when you've got Derwin James, you've got two absolutely elite players right there. Young cornerback Asante Samuel is still fantastic. He deserves more love. Like, they've got just a lot of the right pieces in place. They're just a young team still trying to figure it all out, and they're learning a little bit quicker than expected. They've had some disappointing games, as you've mentioned, but as a whole, like I truly believe they've got a great shot at a playoff run.
And then the Raiders.
Oh yeah, I had to pick a 10th team.
There you go.
That's my analysis. I really didn't know who to go at 10, and I figured I'll just give the nod to the Raiders. Because I still think that they're a very much playoff contending team. They're a division leader right now. Or if not, they're in second, whatever it is. But regardless, they're someone who is pretty much a playoff team the way it stands. Derek Carr is continuing to play well. All the situations going on around them so far have not really impacted them. Deshaun Jackson is going to be there now. We'll see what he does with Derek Carr. Maybe that opens up the offense a little bit deeper for passing plays and stuff. But They should be a playoff team at this rate.
Yeah, I think that they're solid picks. They're not, my picks. I could see the arguments with the Raiders, Chargers, and then the Chiefs. I just feel like the Patriots are like a clear number 9 for me. They played so well recently. They absolutely slaughtered the Jets. They go into Los Angeles to take out the Chargers.
5-4.
And then they smoked the Panthers.
5-4.
How many have they won in their last 3?
5-4.
This is a power rankings, which means recency matters.
Oh, big recency bias guy.
That's why the Patriots absolutely should be here. And their last 6 games, really, you should be looking at it and be like, this team has really impressed. They lost to the Buccaneers by 2 points. They beat the Texans. Then they lose to the Cowboys in overtime. Then they slaughter the Jets. They go into Los Angeles and go into Carolina and get 2 big wins. So this team has been very good recently. Their run game has really come on, which is awesome. And their defense has been a lot better than what it was to begin the year. I know a lot of people expected the defense to be good. It's finally getting to that point. Mac Jones, he's looking like an offensive rookie of the year candidate if it wasn't for Jamar Chase being in the league right now. So I think that this team has really evolved, and my hot take at the start of the year that this is the team that's going to make the Super Bowl, still just not going to be the case, but they're making it look less hot the more and more they play like this. So that's why they're my number 9. And then when it comes to the Chiefs at number 10, I don't like any teams at number 10 right now. It's so crazy how mixy the league is right now, especially the AFC. Like, every team is sitting in that, 5-win range, which is crazy. I just think that if there's a team right now that is in this range that could just find a spark and go win the Super Bowl, it's going to be the Mahomes-led Chiefs.
Yeah, that's fair. I haven't seen enough to put them there. I want them to be out my top 10. It's funny. So it's fitting.
Yeah.
And, it's going to be even funnier when both those teams lose this week, too.
Uh-huh. Except they're not. I'm not even looking at the... Let's see. Nope, I got that team winning. And then... Oh, I do have that team losing.
Oof.
All right. Let's go through our bottom 3 now. We decided to add that this year, or this power rankings. So we'll start with 30, which is
32.
No, we'll start at 30.
Oh, you don't want to start with the obvious. Okay.
No, let's start with really making Johnny sad.
Yeah, it is the Miami Dolphins.
It is the Miami Dolphins.
We have the same bottom 3.
31 is
the Houston Texans.
Lions.
You're gonna have the Lions above the Texans.
I think the Lions beat the Texans.
I don't know, man.
And then
I don't know.
32
man.
is the Texans for me.
I don't know. I
know.
I can't do it.
Well, maybe with Tyrod back, maybe not.
That's why I think he's enough of a presence.
But the Texans are like,
who's the better quarterback between Tyrod and Jared Goff? Honest question. I don't know.
Right now, if I had to start a franchise, I'd rather have Jared Goff.
Okay, fair. But say you had a 1 season to win. Still Jared Goff?
Probably.
Okay. We know the better running backs. Better wide receiver rooms in the Texans. Tight end goes to the Lions. Offensive line goes to the Lions. How that's healthy. Then you go to the defense, and I know the Texans defense is very.
I'll pass on both. Let me go look at their points against for both teams. But I'd pass on both. They both suck.
Yeah, at least they've. I feel like I don't know because I haven't been watching Texans games, but I just feel like they have to have more help than the Lions do because defensively, Lions don't have shit going.
All right, you ready?
Yep.
The Texans have given up 258 points. The Lions have given up 244.
Oh, that's an extra game for the Texans, or have their bye yet?
One extra game.
Okay, so on average, Lions have given up more.
Looking at net points, the Lions are at negative 110. The Texans are negative 130.
Also with an extra game. Mm. So,
but do you think the Lions are going to get outscored by 20 points in this next game? They're versus the Steelers.
Maybe.
Oh boy.
You can't say it's a no.
Hey, I'm just a Lions supporter out here, so any Lions fans listening to this, I got your back. Chase doesn't, but I got your back.
You really can't say it's no. They haven't won in Pittsburgh since '55.
Well, yeah, but the Bengals, they didn't win in 8 years, but then they clobbered them last year without Joe Burrow.
But Najee's going to go 17 for 195 and 3 just on the ground. He's going to.
That's fine with me. I got him in fantasy.
Yeah, I have him in the fantasy league as well.
Interesting. I'm very curious to see how that all ends. I wish they were playing each other. They don't play, right?
No, thank God, because I do think there's a good chance Lions. It'd be 50-50 on who would win, but I'm just picking the Lions as the worst team because I watch them every week. What?
The Lions have more points for than the Texans do, and that's with a game in hand still.
Well, that doesn't surprise me because you got to remember they casually dropped 33 on the 49ers. They they scored some points against the Packers. They had a couple of high point games where the Texans have had some very low point games too, but it's not too surprising.
They're both on an 8-loss streak.
Yep.
Oof. All right. Well, there's your bottom 3. I think it's funny that the Dolphins are in there. I really do. Because I know you were lower on them than everyone else here at WNP.
Wasn't this low.
No. So they've really surprised. Hey, you got to feel bad for Johnny because
no, you don't have
his
to.
number 1 team, the Lions, his number 2 team, the Dolphins. But then he's got teams 3 through 7 that are all in a mix of ranges, so.
I'm Lions and then Jags. Like, get over it.
That's fair. That's fair. All right, let's now move on to our game previews. Gonna be we got to do awards.
We do got to do awards, silly guy.
All right, let's just go through these quick. Yeah,
we don't really need to get too heavy in discussion about them anyway. We've talked about a lot of these players through this.
MVP, go.
I'm still going number 1, Matthew Stafford.
No, that's wrong. It's Tom Brady. All right, number 2, go.
He's my number 2.
Offensive player of the year, go.
Still Derrick Henry at this point.
No, it's Cooper Kupp. All right.
He's my number 2.
Defensive player of the year, go.
Myles Garrett.
Yes, it is.
TJ Watt, number 2.
Offensive rookie of the year, go.
Jamar Chase.
Defensive rookie of the year.
Micah Parsons.
And coach of the year.
Mike Vrabel.
Yes, I agree with all of those. So
that's too funny. My number 2 for defensive rookie of the year is Asante Samuel, even though he has no chance of winning it because Micah Parsons already has it locked up.
Yeah.
And then coach of the year, if things fall apart for the Titans, Cliff Kingsbury's next in line.
Which I don't want to see that.
Me neither.
But hey, I wasn't the one that said he'd be fired midseason, so I'm cool with that. My conscience is clear.
I didn't say he would be. I said a hot take.
Oh,
silly goose.
What's the difference?
A hot take is not something that I firmly believed in. I was like a 5 out of 10 on it.
Also, I wrote in here, shout out Fletcher Cox, but we already talked about him, how he is the highest rated defensive tackle right now in the league.
What a noob.
All right, let's now go over our predictions for this week. When we take a look at week 9, oh boy, another strugglesome week for us. The best was Graham and Garrett at 8-6. Me and Vegas went 7-7, and then you, Chris, and Johnny both 6-8. You still have a lead at 86-50, but it's only a 2-game lead now on Graham, and then a 4-game lead on the rest of the spread. So.
I'm not losing to the brand, like the newest football fan of us. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it.
All right, well, we'll see with these picks. First up, Baltimore at Miami. Baltimore is a 7.5-point favorite.
They will cover easily.
Buffalo at the New York Jets. The Buffalo Bills are a 12.5-point favorite.
Seems steep based on the last game they had, but they honestly might cover just out of pure rage. Like the Bills are going to win this game.
I'm going Buffalo as well, but if you're a Buffalo fan, I'd be a little worried.
Yeah, there is some cause for concern because the Jets played, even though they it was almost like garbage time kind of comeback last week, they still were coming back. If they had a little more time, they would have been all right. And if Mike White was in the whole game, I think they would have had a better chance because, Josh Johnson's kind of whatever. Mm-hmm. Or John Johnson, whatever the hell his name is. But regardless, this is a great trap game that they could fall into.
Tampa Brady versus Washington and Chase Young. Tampa is a 9.5-point favorite.
The incredible thing is, all 3 of these favorites have been on the road.
Yeah.
And they're large favorites. They're all gonna win and possibly cover.
I was thinking to myself when I was writing this all down, I'm like, are these all going to be away favorites? And then the next 10 are all home favorites.
Yeah, there's quite a few here that are very reasonable home favorites.
Atlanta at Dallas. Dallas a 9-point favorite. Excuse me.
No, they're gonna win. It could be closer. This feels like a game that would be closer. Just basically, it could be like a pure offensive shootout. But I think it'll be great for fantasy if you got guys in this game. Start them.
I think Dallas should win, but I also thought they should win against Denver, and I picked New Orleans over Atlanta, and that didn't really work out for me either. So
pick Atlanta.
I'm still going Dallas.
Noob.
But we'll see what happens. New Orleans at Tennessee. Tennessee only a 3-point favorite.
Well, that's because they don't have Derrick Henry, so they're still going to keep doubting him. Last week it has been a fluke, but it doesn't matter because I still think they're going to come out with this one against the Saints. I mean, it's Trevor Siemian leading the surge.
Until OBJ shows up.
That would be... He wouldn't even look good in those colors.
I agree. His hair could kind of work with it.
But he'd look better in the Packers' ugly green and ugly yellow.
That's true. Let's just send them there now.
Yes.
All right, Jacksonville at Indianapolis. Indianapolis, a 10.5-point favorite. It is Chris's birthday on tomorrow, or when this episode releases. So you could give him a happy birthday by taking Indy, or you could just make it a really bad birthday and say Jacksonville.
What a birthday present it's going to be when the Jags beat the Colts. That's just not going to happen.
Writing it down?
The Colts are going to win.
No.
Yeah, I got to take Colts in this one. I would like for the Jags to win. It'd be great, but I don't know if they can string together an emotional, horrible win into another emotional what would have to be kind of a horrible win again.
All right, copying me on another. That's fine. This next one I already got you for Pitt. I'm not going to go through that.
Yeah, don't even talk about it.
Cleveland at New England. New England is a 1.5 point favorite.
That's as close as I think it should be. I understand why they're favorites because like they're the home team. They've been playing well. But they've mostly been playing well on the road. They haven't been that great at home. They've been just fine at best at home. I'm going to go with the Browns in this one. I think if they squeeze out this win, I think Myles Garrett is set to have a game because he just likes to have big games every week. He's on track to break the sack record. I think he does it this year. This game, maybe he gets 1 or 2 in there to help out.
And I'm going to go the Patriots. They are my number 9 team in the power rankings. And Cleveland is without all their running backs except for Dearness Johnson. So
Nick Chubb is unvaccinated, so he could, as long as he gets 2 positive tests within 24 hours, he's good to play. So there's still a good chance he plays.
Which would be nice for my fantasy team.
Or 2 negative tests, sorry.
I'm not banking on it. So
yeah. You don't want to just put all your chips into it happening, but I still think he will play. And even if not, Dearness Johnson played pretty well when he had that spot start, and there's enough faith where
but who are they working?
Yeah, I mean it's probably not going to happen again. But there's enough faith there, and the fact that OBJ doesn't, or that Baker doesn't have to worry about OBJ anymore. There's less distractions. Donovan, you go from OBJ to DPJ. Mm-hmm. The better abbreviation. So you get to go, DPJ's been playing really well, actually. He's had over 77 yards the last 3 weeks. Like he's doing pretty good. So hopefully he keeps being integrated in that offense, and I think the passing attack could get some work done.
This is a lot of excuses for why they're still going to lose.
Why they're going to win? Yeah, that's a lot of reasons why they're going to win.
This is the one I didn't pick, and I think you are already locked in on it. You know who you're taking. Minnesota versus the Chargers. The Chargers are a 3-point favorite.
I am taking the Chargers. It could be a good game, but I am going to go with the Chargers.
This one's tough because there was some Dalvin Cook stuff.
He's playing, though.
Yeah. For now, something could come out where, it changes that.
I don't think anything's happening this year.
I'll just pull an Arizona from last week. If Dalvin Cook plays, I'll go Minnesota. If he doesn't, I'm switching to the Chargers.
All right, that's perfectly fine. But I don't think he misses a game this year unless it's because of injury. I don't think he's missing any games because of this.
Carolina at Arizona. Arizona a 10.5 point favorite.
Should be a bigger spread.
I've got Arizona as well. Philadelphia at Denver. Denver's a 2.5 point favorite.
I will be tuning out of this game.
Well, you think the Eagles are good. They smoked the Lions, so
the Broncos,
should I put it down for you?
The Broncos are better because they just whooped the Cowboys.
Should I put it down for you?
Do it. No, Broncos. I will not be watching this game, though. This does not sound fun.
This next game is one game that I will be tuning into.
Yes.
You've got Russell Wilson coming back, as well as Aaron Rodgers coming back. Seattle at Green Bay. Green Bay a 3-point favorite.
So if both quarterbacks weren't playing in this, I think I would take the Packers in this game. So I'm going to go. The only stipulation is if Aaron Rodgers doesn't play and Russell Wilson does, then I would take the Seahawks. But in every other situation, I'm going to take the Packers because I think just without the starting quarterbacks, the rest of their teams matched up, I would lean in the Packers' favor in this one. So what is the spread? Their favorites? I'm assuming. Did you say that?
Yeah, Green Bay's a 3-point favorite.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So that's about fair. I'm pretty high on them. This should be an entertaining game though all around. Still doesn't have a great running back in Seattle. Russell Wilson doesn't. It's just Alex Collins right now. Like Chris Carson's not coming back off IR this year probably. So that's going to hinder him a little bit. Whereas the Packers, especially if OBJ does show up and is able to play, which it's not likely, but it's not impossible. Like they could, they have everything covered. They've got receiver, they've got running back, they got a quarterback. They don't even need to worry about tight end at that point. They're good on offense, and the defense is fine enough where it can get it done.
I'm going Green Bay too, but I hope that Russ just comes in and balls out. I would love that.
Let Russ cook.
Kansas City at Las Vegas, the Sunday night game. The Chiefs are a 2.5 point favorite.
Interesting. Mm-hmm. That's kind of surprising. I understand the rationale, but it's still the Raiders have been the better team and they're at home. And I still think the Raiders are going to come out with this win. The Raiders tend to do pretty well against the Chiefs. Even in games they lose, they tend to be pretty competitive all the way through. So it wouldn't surprise me if the Chiefs win this one, at all. I think they're reasonably favorites, but I think the Raiders can prove me right and go out and play pretty well. I think Darren Waller's in for a hell of a game.
I've got the Raiders too, even though I don't have them in my top 10, but I had the Chiefs there. I'll let my talk about the Chiefs defend that point. I think right now where the Chiefs sit is very wishy-washy, but like I said in the power rankings, if there's one team that can find that spark and go win the Super Bowl, it's the Chiefs. That's why I'll put them at my number 10. But how they're playing as of right now, I'm going to lean the Vegas Raiders very slightly.
That's fair.
Rams at San Francisco. Only a 4-point favorite for the Rams in this one.
I don't know why the 49ers are getting so much love in the betting odds recently.
I don't either.
Like, they haven't been looking good, and like they haven't been good. I hope Trey Lance gets the start. I mentioned earlier in the show that I think he's bound to get started for the next 2 weeks. It probably doesn't happen this week. I don't think they want to put him through this, but if the Rams win this game like they should, and like I'm betting on them to, then he's going to start next week.
I've got the Rams as well. Who do they play next week?
The 49ers next week play the Jags. That's a Trey Lance game.
Yes.
That is a 1,000%. That they might win and still play Trey Lance.
Start Jimmy Garoppolo now, get smoked by the Rams, and then have Trey Lance go smoke the Jags.
Yeah, Trey Lance would have to go against the Jags, and then the following week is the Vikings, which is a game he could still do well in. And then going forward would be at Seattle, at Cincinnati. I'm getting lower down on the schedule here. I just got the whole schedule pulled up. Against the Falcons at home, at Tennessee, against the Texans.
At LA for their final game.
They got to play him down the stretch at that point. Like, there's a couple games like the Rams in the final week of the season shouldn't matter because they should be locked and loaded and resting guys. So that game shouldn't matter. If the Bengals, figure their stuff out, that could be a tougher game, and Titans would be a tougher game. But the rest are like games you could feasibly win if Trey Lance plays like to his level.
He should definitely play the Falcons game. That would be a fun one to watch him play.
That'd be a game where he would just be allowed to fly offensively because that game would be a lot of points scored. Oh, that'd be awesome.
And Kyle Shanahan needs to do it because
his job's getting close to on the line.
He's getting his seat's getting pretty warm.
Yeah.
It is wintertime, so he clicked the freaking...
He clicked the seat warmer in his car, but he didn't realize that there was a instead of 3 power, his goes up to 4 power, and it's at that 4 power right now.
So he better start doing something here. All right, well, that's going to do it for the show. We want to thank you so much for coming out and giving us a listen. If you want to stay up to date with all that we do, you can follow us on Twitter at WNP Sports Pod. That's, again, on Twitter at WNP Sports Pod. We also have a Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok that you can follow as well. Those links will all be down in the description. Don't worry about having to go look that up. Remember what exactly it is. The links are there for you. Chase has his finger up. What do you need?
No, sorry.
He did this last time.
My power is getting turned back on at 6:30, they're saying.
Oh, so I can play Xbox for the next 2 hours without you?
Yeah, I mean, I already told you I get on the name. I got some work I got to do.
Your ear hurts. See?
Yeah, not at this point. It's so late that I might stay up till 1 or 2 in the morning getting it done and just get like 3 hours of sleep.
I was a little sad coming off of work today. I was like, oh, sweet, podcast, can't wait. And then I'm like, oh, shoot, I got to edit.
Bad bounce.
Yeah, whatever. So yeah, those links will be down in the description. If you're listening on YouTube or watching on YouTube, I should say, if you could please give us a like, comment, subscribe. We would really appreciate that, as well as hit the bell to turn on notifications. In the comments, let us know your top 10. I'm very curious to know who you have in that 9 and 10 position. Please put it in there, and we'll feel free to comment why you're wrong and why WNP is always right. And then if you are listening on a podcast platform, if you could please follow and give us a 5-star rating, we would really appreciate that. Thanks so much for listening and watching. And as always, we're not professionals.